Here with Albert from Manchester, and you've just had a chance. Let me get your eyes out of the sun just a little bit there. You've just had a chance to eyeball the WinWin Party survey. Just some of the ideas they have for how the government should be better. If you want, just read them off, top to bottom, and give me your take on each item there.
Okay, the first one is representative government is supposed to represent everyone's interests, not just majorities or major campaign contributors. I think definitely when our federal government, we have such diverse interests. We have 50 states. We're so huge with our population that you definitely have to try to get an agreement as most as possible. Not just like, we got enough votes, let's do it. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with trying to make everyone happy as far as you can. You're never gonna make everyone happy. Some points are total opposites. So you can't. I don't see how you could converge certain points, like pro-life or pro-choice. It's like, I don't know how you could convince those two to go together.
I can't even convince myself of one side or the other.
Right. But yeah, when you're looking at an issue that's going to affect us all, it shouldn't just be a matter of, okay, we got 60 votes here, we got a majority over here. I mean, really trying to listen to all sides and trying to come to a compromise that's going to make most people happy.
And that was just item number one?
That was one, yeah. Item number two, in order to represent everyone, public servants should use a win-win process to find solutions that satisfy all sides' main concerns on each issue. Well, that's kind of like the same thing as number one. Again, just repeating number one, I don't think you can all the time, but you should at least try to as much as possible. I mean, because you are supposed to represent all of us. Number three, it's easier for win-win candidates to get elected because most people realize that win-win could benefit everyone. That's an interesting one.
Well, I guess if you think about it, the way the colonies were originally set up, and the country was originally set up, after the days of the colonies, they had to have the unanimous consent, not of every person, but every state had to sign on to the idea of being in the Union for there to be a union of 13 states.
Right.
They all ratified the Constitution. If they hadn't done that, we'd have a couple more countries in the area. Right.
They didn't like the Declaration of Independence. They wanted unanimous on that, and they got that. The Articles of Confederation, our first form of government there, everything had to be unanimous, so everyone had a veto. That's why it was like, it wasn't going to be just a majority. Either we all agreed or we didn't. When they ratified the Constitution, it didn't have to be a majority, but it had to be, 9 states out of 13? Or 11.
Really? I thought it was all 13.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it was just for the articles then.
It was just for the articles.
Okay.
It was they needed.
This is what I love about New Hampshire. I just run into people and they know more about civics than I do.
Right. It was something like 9 or 11, something like that, out of the 13 states had to do it. But of course, they knew there's certain states, the big ones, if they didn't get them, it was going to be pointless. So even if they got all the other ones, but they didn't get New York and Virginia, they just knew they were going to be screwed.
Yeah.
And so, I guess when I think of stuff like this, I think of two things. I think a comment someone said to me about like the Occupy Wall Street groups and how you always hear we're the 99% and we're sick of like the 1% of the resources going to the 1% of the population. Then I think about voting. If we're 99% of the voters, why do we keep voting for these people that represent?
Well, it's because we're given choice between a crap sandwich and a crap crepe.
Well, at the national election, but during the primary season, we have much more. Like right now, the guys that I like best will never get in. We'll never get in.
Well, maybe,
but again,
that's part of their game is to make you say that, so that becomes the meme all over the country, is that the good guys will never get in, so no one votes for them.
No, I'm not saying I'm not going to vote for them.
But
that's not what I'm saying. I'm always going to vote for the guy who I want to. But eventually, because of the way the primary system is, when you get to the last primaries, it's like the choice is already made by then, so they don't even have a primary for real. And then when you have the national election, at that point, you're just like going, Okay, this guy totally blows. This guy only blows a little bit.
Well, it's been working to our disadvantage for a long time, but hopefully, eventually, the fact that New Hampshire has such a disproportionate power will start working to our advantage.
Like they're protesting against the bank bailouts, but then they re-elected Barney Frank. Wow, that's just like not surprising me. Massachusetts being extremely liberal. What are they, like 2 Republicans?
Well, and how would it have been any better if they'd elected one of those corporate Republicans?
Well, it would have been better.
Well, maybe. I mean, you know, again, crap crepe with syrup.
I mean, I don't like corporate liberals or corporate Republicans.
Yeah.
And I think that Barney Frank was specifically responsible for a lot of stuff. I think there's certain people that you can look at and go, are you kidding me? The guy's been in office how long? And he's doing what? He did what?
Well, it's one of those things, I just have to feel like, you know, people got to give me a little slack here. That's not a very good Barney Frank.
I guess I don't have faith in the American voter. So when I think about that last one we just talked, it's easier for a win-win candidates to get elected because most people realize that win-win could benefit everyone. I don't trust the average American voter because you're still going to have the media saying you should vote for this guy. You're still going to have the main parties who they say we're supporting this Republican, this Democrat. Yeah. And you're still going to have people that I think it's like a popularity contest. Well, I know that I've heard of this guy's name. I don't know these other guys. I'll vote for him. Like we're voting for prom king and queen. So
yeah, maybe you don't even know what they look like.
You know, so I don't even. Right.
Don't waste your vote. Oh yeah, I got to vote for everybody here randomly.
I think the voters have to be smarter, and I don't think the average voter takes time to learn what these people, especially the days of the internet. It is so easy to do research now. There's no excuse.
Well, you know what though? It's actually not that easy to. I always have to spend at least a few days in advance, or at least start a few days in advance to figure out who I'm going to vote for locally.
Locally, it is hard.
I'm clueless until I start asking around, and I got to have a few days notice. If the election sneaks up on me, I'm in trouble.
Local is hard. It is hard. The last primary here for the city of Manchester, I was like, well, can you at least tell me like if he's a Democrat, Republican? I'm like, I got to at least know. That gives me a head start at where direction he's going in, you know? But yeah, it was extremely hard to find locally. All right, what's the last one? Any candidate of any party who uses win-win process is automatically our friend because they would want to find solutions that satisfy our concerns as well as their own. I mean, I like that. I like someone who's going to look at the I do like someone who's going to look at everything, but I also have a moral standard where there's certain things I'm not crossing that line. So I don't care if it's one person or 300 million people that would want something. I mean, I couldn't support that if it went against my moral value. But in general, if it wasn't one of those things, you know, like I'll give you a crazy example of like, hey, we should legalize rape. You know what I mean? If there was really most of the people in this country were going to say that, I was like, no, I can't support that. But yeah, but in general, I think that's a nice idea. I think I can go with that. I mean, looking at the whole process, looking at everything, not just what I want. What does everybody want? You know? Then again, I look at sometimes what everyone wants, and I don't think, like what we were talking about earlier, everyone understands economics. Money doesn't fall from trees. You want me to pay for your what? I can't pay for mine.
Tuition, college, it's a human right.
It's a human right? A human right? And then we already have a system in place where they let you get student loans that you have to pay back. I can't get a loan, and it's a loan where I don't need any collateral. I don't need anything. I can just go there, get a loan. You can't do that for a car. You can't do that for a house. Yep. You can't do that for other things. They don't ask if you have a job for a student loan. You know, so at least you get that shot. I mean, I think colleges is also a scam too.
Get the hell out of here!
Hey, Dad. You have to know what you want to do, and is it worth it? But, yeah. I mean, if you're just going to go for 4-year college to just think you're going to just major in something and you're guaranteed a job, because that's one of the complaints I hear. It's like, no, there's certain jobs, careers that make money, and some don't, and some need grad school. So if some you have to go to finish and then go to grad school.
Okay.
So I don't think they tell people that sometimes, because it's a business. College is a business. They want your money.
All right. Well, thanks, Albert. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
All right.